We have a question here from the comments that I'd love to shed some light on, help out with. It is up here for you to read as well, from Mr. British Gent. On reflection, if there's one thing that seems to be seriously slow at improving, it is the strength of my pinky finger. I'm guessing that's going to be in the left hand. When I practice moving an E shape up and down, it often collapses. It's also the thing that seems to slow me down when practicing scales. Any practice routine that would speed up improvement in that department would be most welcome. So let's get into some ideas and see what we can help with here. The first really positive thing here is that it's not going to be about strength, it's going to be about alignment and position. The positive thing about that is strength with anything is going to take longer to develop, but with alignment and position, when you get the ideas in place, they work instantly. Firstly, I'm going to assume that when you say your E shape, you're talking about your barcode shape, which would be the E with the bar that you can slide up and down, because mostly in your normal E shape, you wouldn't have your fourth finger on. Even though if you've got your E shape and you do it in E7, you might have the same issue with the finger buckling when you press it on. There are three main position points we want to have a look at. If these are in place, your finger will absolutely stop buckling. The first one, nice and easy, but a lot of time people overlook this because they assume they're doing it, is make sure you're on the tip of the finger. If you're on the tip of the finger, it's not going to buckle as easily. A lot of people think they are, but actually they've got a bit of a flatter finger than they think, and this is making it buckle. The second point is going to be how curved your finger is. We get the strength of all of our fingers from the curve shape they make. Just like with a bridge, with anything, if you've got a curve on it and you press down on it, the force goes down into the fret. If it's flatter and you put a weight on it, it'll start to buckle. The exact same physics as you'll do with the kids' toys where you make a bridge out of bricks. They're like semi-triangle bricks to make the curve on it. You can walk across it without it getting glued together. Great when you're a kid, exactly the same idea with the guitar. But how do we get this curve? This curve comes from how far your knuckle is away from the tip of your finger. If you bring your knuckle closer to your finger, it's going to curve more. Now on the left hand, when you're playing on the guitar, often people favor their index finger and end up turning their hand out, meaning their little finger has to stretch to get into place. What you want to do is turn in so that you get more and more of a curve on that little finger. Always favor the upper end of your hand, your third and your fourth finger, because your index finger will often make do where your other fingers will be buckling and having issues. So now you're on the tip of your finger and you've got more of a curve in your finger. Those are the main ones sorted, but there's one more angle that people don't tend to think about that makes a major difference, and this one I bet you haven't heard of before. Let's get into that. Your hand is actually a pizza shape if you look at the geometry behind it. So if you look at each one of your fingers and draw a line, it comes down to right there on your palm. Every one of them, line comes there, you see your thumb points in there as well. So from an open hand, each finger's facing right there on your hand. This means that when you're looking at the alignment to your elbow, so drawing a straight line from your elbow to the tip of your finger, you can only have one finger in line at a time. That's my little finger in line. If I turn my hand this way, now I've got my first finger in line. This is really important to understand on the guitar because when your hand's on the neck, only one finger will be vertical out of the neck at a time. If I hold the guitar this way, if I have my index finger vertical, my little finger is going to be on its side. Try and hold the guitar where you can see that. If I go little finger upright out of the guitar, my index finger is going to start going onto its side. That's because your hand's fanned out, only one of them can be facing straight up out of the guitar at a time. When you're looking at building a chord shape or, like you mentioned in the comment, doing scales as well, you want this angle to change while you're playing. So you go on a scale, that finger into that one, into that, and you can see my wrist moving through as I move. This makes sure that not only are we on the tip of the finger, not only do we have a nice curve of the finger, but then our finger can be upright when we're playing it as well. Between these 3 points, your finger will absolutely not be collapsing, and you don't have to worry about strength. You won't have to be there at the gym doing teeny tiny little curls with your little finger, even though that would be absolutely hilarious to watch. So let's run through a scale and see if you can pick up the movement I have in my hand here. If I've got my middle finger on, I'm just going to be roughly in a middle position. As I go to my fourth finger, instead of putting it on and my wrist not moving, what I'm going to do is that with my wrist, pull it in a little bit so that my fourth finger then is more in line. And you can see with each one of those notes, I've got that little movement going to line up my wrist. You'll also see that instead of being stretched out, I've turned my elbow in to get that extra curve on the finger. This is the kind of movement you'd want to see when you're playing. Now the question arises here, when you're playing a chord and you're using all of your fingers at the same time, what do you do with the alignment? So this is back to favoring the high end of your hand, favoring your third and fourth finger to get the alignment there. Your first finger will still have leverage, even if it's completely sideways, completely out of position, it'll still be able to be compromised and play the string. Whereas your fourth finger will start buckling around the place and not have that same ability to compromise and still get a clean note. To get that working in a chord, I would start by building the chord from my fourth finger, then heading to my third, getting the alignment where I want for those. Then you've got your wrist, you've got your elbow in place. Now you can start putting your other fingers on without compromising what happens with your third and fourth finger. Most people start with putting the first finger on and building from there, but what will happen is your first finger will then dominate the alignment and your fingers will get gradually kicked further and further out of alignment from there. Now, for those who are more pedantic, when you're playing a song, you might have seen my video about guide fingers, of course, you don't always build the chord from the fourth finger. In isolation, when you're trying to find the best position, yes, build from your fourth finger backwards to your first finger. This is where you'll get the best position. Just make sure that as you're building backwards, you don't change your wrist or your elbow once you've found that position for your fourth finger. So as a quick recap, the question was, what do we do about the buckling fourth finger? We have three main points there. The first one to double check is that you're on the tip of your finger. From there, you want to make sure you've got enough of an arc in the finger. That's going to come from how close you are to that finger. You can see I'm getting the distance by bringing my elbow in, my wrist in to get closer to the tip of my finger. Then, point number 3 is the one that very few people talk about, understanding that your hand fans and that movement will align your finger to your elbow, and that's where you're going to get the most support from. So, only one finger can be aligned to your elbow at a time. You want to position that in a way. For scales, you can fan back and forth between them. For chords, you want to build from your fourth finger backwards so that the strength stays in the high part of your hand. So, Mr. British Gent, I hope that helps answer your question for you. Yes, tons of people struggle with their little finger buckling, and one of the main issues is thinking that it's strength instead of getting the position and alignment that you need. So this is a question that's going to help a whole bunch of people. If you've been struggling with the same thing, drop it in the comments. Let's hear your progress. Let's hear what you've been wanting to push forward with in your guitar playing. And of course, if you found any value in this video, like and follow for more, as I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of videos out to help you push forward and level up your guitar playing. Also, if you want to go more into what I was talking about with the elbow alignment with the hand, this video here goes into a bit more depth on exactly what your elbow's doing and how it can relieve a lot of issues you might have in your left hand. So, I'll see you in there.